What's going on, you guys? Indeed right here. We are on the verge of the Xbox One S coming out. So I thought today would be a good time to go ahead and unbox an Xbox One Elite wireless controller. Let's go ahead and take a peek at this bad boy. The Xbox One Elite wireless controller for the Xbox One. Also going to be compatible with the Xbox One S. See, on the side it shows what it includes. Comes with the Xbox One wireless controller itself, the interchangeable D-pads, the interchangeable thumbsticks, the paddles, so you can use it much like the traditional SCUF controllers I'm sure you guys are familiar with. They're pretty prominent. A carrying case itself, some batteries thankfully, and another USB cable. Good. I'm excited for that. Tape on the bottom, a couple of them on the top. Let's go ahead and slide it all off. Oh yes. Ooh, I like that actually. It's inside the carrying case. Interesting. Little crucible here, Xbox One logo underneath that. This is probably where all the paperwork and the cables and stuff are. I'm assuming this is the actual USB cable. Hopefully it's nice and long, about a 10-foot cable like the actual charge kit cable is. You guys can check out that video here, by the way, if you want to see my unboxing of that one and checking that out. Here we've got the quick setup guide. Probably just some simple formalities. Quickly double press bind button to disable paddle functionality. So if you don't want to bump them in a game. Customize your Elite controller settings by downloading your free Xbox accessories app. It's going to be an actual app on the Xbox One you would go to configure. And this is just some product warning label crap. I'm not interested in that myself. But they have to do it or they get in trouble. So, well, cool. That was a nice, quaint little packaging. I like the way that actually is. Let's check out the USB cable real quick. There's the batteries. And over here we have the cable, and this looks like one of those nice, high quality, can get bent around and not get messed up USB ones. I hope this is a big 10-foot cable, just like the other one on the Xbox One. I love these cables. You know, they're super nice. Oh yeah, that's going to be a whole lot of fun. Put that bad boy in. Alright guys, well it's time for the meat and potatoes, the actual controller itself, and it's cool that it does come in this carrying case, especially because the controller is not cheap. Ooh yeah, that's right, so you can keep all your equipment in there. Alright guys, just been giving the controller here a look over. Let's go ahead and actually check out what all this does. First of all, it's all grayscale, chrome, kind of shiny, like a bronze-ish chrome kind of color. The camera's kind of picking it up, it's kind of not. You got the grayscale buttons all around. You got your grayscale D-pad here. This is the newer D-pad they put out there for those who want to play with it. Fighting games and stuff like that, especially Killer Instinct. You've got the sticks here. These are just the traditional style ones. And on the back here, this is sort of where half the money is. So you've got your customizable hair triggers back here. So whenever you're playing a game, you can kind of have your hands kind of all lined up on there. You kind of rest your fingers on it and your fingers can kind of hit whatever you need to. So what it allows you to do is inside that Xbox One app, you would go in, customize what these buttons would do within the two profiles. This is a toggle switch for the profiles themselves. You would customize the app, and then whichever setting you go for, that's what these buttons would do. So if you wanted the ability to, say for example, just press a trigger like this to reload your gun without having to move your finger off the D-pad to hit X or one of these shoulder buttons or whatever the game is that you're playing, you could just pull that trigger and that would cause you to reload your gun. It would kind of take some practice getting used to as far as not bumping the controls, but it's all part of the learning experience, learning process. So now let's actually check out what else is available for this controller. So one, on the back here, you have these two toggle switches. Now what these do is these actually control the range of motion of the triggers. So what I'm going to do is just show you on this trigger here, it has the switch up, and this trigger here has the switch down. So what we're going to do is just pull the trigger here, and that trigger goes all the way down flat. Now this one here is locked in place, and that only allows me to push the trigger down that far. Almost none of that trigger is visible, and about half that trigger is visible. The use for something like that would be, say for example, maybe you're playing a game where the input on the triggers is digital, so having that full range of motion isn't helpful. This turns it more into like a clicky button rather than that spongy, squishy trigger. You kind of get that shortened range of motion. In addition to that, if you wanted to play a game just period that even uses the triggers, like for example, if you were playing a shooting game, no matter how far you pull down that trigger, so for example, in a racing game, you want to control your speed. But say for example, in a shooting game where you don't need to have this big range of analog control like you would on a foot pedal, you just want to shoot someone, you can limit that range of motion and get that faster, bouncier kind of shot. It's actually not that bad in that regard. On top here, we've got this green sync button, nice and pretty. But now we're actually gonna get to the other cool thing about this, which is the customizable D-pad and joystick configurations. Now these are on the controller with magnets. These use magnets. So all you do is you just grab the thumbstick or grab the D-pad and back it off. You just pull it off. And actually I'm gonna show you right here, if I just kind of set it, you'll see it kind of snap in place. It's actually using a magnet. So that's, I was a little concerned about it at first, but actually when you go at different kind of angles, like for example at this angle here, when I have the stick pulled this direction, I can't even back it off from there. It has to be kind of lined up straight. It's far more difficult to pull off in that direction. So I would say the only thing you need to be worried about is kids or animals or your punk ass friends that want to try and steal your sticks and make you upset. So, because I would walk out and see my controller like this and I'd be pretty damn pissed. But that's just something to take into consideration whenever you're trying to hang out with your buddies. So again, with this new D-pad here, you kind of get a full 8-way directional flat surface D-pad rather than the traditional 8-directional with a cross fashion. There you go. So this, if you wanted to switch out these D-pads, all you do is back that boy off, set it there, and because they have the same footprint, they actually just line up nice and neatly inside the same crucible. You snap your other D-pad on if that's what you want, and you're off to the races. Same thing with these joysticks. So these ones, they give you varying heights and varying styles. What they give you here are the traditional ones. These are the ones you're going to find on any Xbox One controller. This is my Day 1 edition model. Any Xbox One controller is going to have these traditional sticks. If you want to opt for convex sticks, convex joystick, like that of a PlayStation console, for example, this is something you can purely just switch out. And now you have a convex joystick. Actually taller than the other one, so that's something to take into consideration. It is noticeably taller. Kind of high up, so it does feel kind of strange, but you know, for those that might find that more comfortable, there you go. And in addition to that, you also have the other kind of joystick, which is an elongated concave joystick. Yeah, actually this elongated concave one is even longer. I've usually seen people use this for this joystick. Now you have this huge stick that's off the board, and the idea is that a stick of this kind of size would give you a more precise range of motion rather than a shorter stick. You can really feel the thumb kind of maneuvering around, and so that's sort of the idea of a taller joystick like this. But this is pretty damn cool. I like that they're really just kind of magnetized on. It actually makes it pretty easy to switch out, customize, optimize, maximize, however you want. And the last thing again is these flips here on the back. We're just going to go ahead and show you how to do this. All you got to do if you want to remove these, and they actually give you a slot. Again, I'm really digging this holder right here. You can kind of just put all your stuff back in there. That was actually a pretty good idea, and I like that it's bolted in to the actual case itself. So if you do not want to play with these tabs, all you do is grab it and pull it outward and back it off, so that you kind of pull them out from a 90-degree angle and just back them off. And then they give you a spot here in the actual carrying case to put all of them. If you don't want to use them, or if you don't want to misplace them, this is a nice clean storage system to stash those. And my good man, you are done. Boom. Just like that. That's actually a pretty nice clean solution, and I like that it gives you a nice dust-free place to put the controller as well. But there's one more thing we're going to look at. In my case, I always play the Xbox 360 and the Xbox One with a chat pad, and I need to make sure that when you have these things attached, does the chat pad still fit? Pretty sure it does, because they haven't done a redesign or anything like that, but I need to see myself if when using these things, can you use a chat pad? You can also just customize whichever ones you want. So right now I'm holding the controller, and on the back side I just have the one right here, so I could just use that and have much more comfortable position for my hands, and then just boop, flick that trigger whenever I want. Put it down here on the bottom, last one, I can just hit that with my pinky whenever I want. You could alternate the location of a long one or a short one, but you can't have the two of them alternated in the same direction, because then they overlap. Just something worth noting if you want to customize it. But now, like I said, it's that moment of truth. With the pieces in place, does the chat pad still fit? So yes, now you can take your Xbox One, hook up an Elite controller to it, attach a chat pad, Have your handles in place, your hairpin triggers. Insert your Xbox rechargeable battery charge and play kit. Snap that cover back on. And have it hooked up all via the official brand Xbox One Elite Controller Charging Kit. Cable. And have yourself a kick-ass time. And there it is, guys. The Xbox One Elite Controller. Thank you very much for watching. I will catch you guys later. And peace. Boom.